We're live. We're live, Mr. Wade.
Well, welcome to another edition of Belizean Affairs. We are at show number 175 on this blessed Wednesday, 31st July 2024. And to our viewers and listeners and those who support us, want to welcome to another edition. Hope that they would take away some sense from what we have to impart to them tonight. There's a lot going on in our country, and always time is of an essence, so we'll get right into it. And I want to welcome Mr. Leonard Brackett tonight. He's the Friday night constitutional chairman. He runs the constitutional part of the show on Friday night. And we should have Mr. Gregory Brackett with us. He is the chairman for the Monday night edition. So, on that note, we always start our program with a prayer and then followed by a reading. And I, in this case, I would like to ask Mr. Leonard Brackett to lead us in prayer and then followed by a reading.
Yes, sir.
Leonard,
Thank you very much, Mr.
over
Chairman,
to you.
for giving me the privilege to participate tonight and sitting with you on this 175th show. I got you quick. I go up on a sprint. I will try to get to 200.
Well, real quick, we didn't get there. We didn't get there.
Thank you very much for the privilege accorded, sir. And
Yes, sir.
I'll just go ahead and bow my head and say a little prayer. Oh, I'm sorry. I need to take off something in the background. I will be disturbed. Sorry about that. Okay. Divine loving Father, we thank you for this privilege to come before thy presence once more. We pray that thou mayest hear our supplication on behalf of ourselves, our family members, our friends and loved ones, our country of Belize, its people and leadership, this country of the United States, its people and leadership, and the rest of humanity, especially those people in harm's way who are being hurt for no justifiable reasons sometimes, or people who are in areas where there's wars, earthquakes, tornadoes, volcanoes, eruptions, and all manner of devastation, Lord Father. We pray that thou mayest be merciful unto us, don't us our heart, our desires, even our most secret thoughts. Please give us the strength, the courage, the endurance, and the perseverance, the wisdom, the knowledge, and understanding to be able to speak to some issues that will help to alleviate some of the problems we endure in our country of Belize today. Please continue to be with us now and always for Christ's sake. Amen.
Thank you, Leonard.
So,
Can you brace us with a reading, please?
yes, sir. I'll read from Proverbs chapter 7, verses 1. Starts as follows. My son, keep my words and lay up my commandments with thee. Keep my commandments and live, and my laws as the apple of thine eye. Bind them upon thy fingers, write them upon the table of thine heart. Say unto wisdom, thou art my sister, and call understanding thy king's woman, that they may keep thee from the strange woman, from the stranger, which flattereth with her words. For at the window of thy house I looked through my casement, and behold, among the simple ones I descended among the youth, a young man void of understanding. And that is the reading for tonight. Thank you for the privilege that you have given me, Mr. Chairman, to participate and help with part of the program. I'll yield back to you, sir.
Thank you, Leonard. Leonard, we, and my people, both at home and abroad, we have been talking a lot about injustice pretty much and the unconstitutionality of the state of emergencies and the constant violating of our constitution by this and past administration. Um, our constitution is our law of the land, and that's our Bible. But we see more and more they tend to be ripping it apart based on the things that past and present government had done publicly, public knowledge. We have been also been talking about this last state of emergency. I want to ask, you know, all the other state of emergencies that they had imposed on the black neighborhood, has it been successful? Well, I beg to differ because if it was successful, we wouldn't have had another one. So it's not working. And they keep every 3 months, they keep imposing state of emergency, and especially in the south side of Belize City. There are heinous crimes, drug crimes, cartel crimes that are been happening in the north. But is there any state of emergency imposed in the north?
Nope.
Okay, so I say that I think it's just a trap to trap the poor and less fortunate and the young black men. As we see lately, a 13-year-old, Leonard, we talked about it,
Yes, sir.
had been arrested and detained and sent to the Belize Central Prison and later transferred to another house because of they were caught. They were caught, and now lately you hear a couple days ago you hear that well, yes, they agree, that shouldn't have happened, and but then again, this juvenile, this 13-year-old is a very serious individual, young man that they, that need warrant serious attention, and then that they are in consultation with this one and that one and the child parent, and they are trying to play it off and try to justify what they had done. So, you know, I I asked the question: is or has these state of emergencies that they had imposed in this, especially in Belize City, has it been working? Did they had success? Did they achieve their mission? You know, in like I say, in my personal view, you know, um, they had not, because, like I say, if they had achieved their objective, they wouldn't have been keep imposing every 3 months state of emergencies And I ask, why only to every time it's a south side? I I I I can't picture, right? What is their intention, or what their what their aim is, or what they are trying to prove, right? So maybe Leonard, maybe you could, you know, let's talk a little on that, right? Because it keeps happening, right? And they seem that they don't realize the gravity of inconvenience, how they inconvenient the residents and people in a whole, right? And the things that they do, right? To push through their agenda, right? The searches, the way they treat people, the way they broke down people door and flashing gun in their face, right? Cocking weapon and all that in front of kids. You know, I can't see for the hell of it what these people are trying to achieve, because it's the same thing over and over and over, a repetitious cycle. So here the prime minister himself say, well, you know, they go back for 30 days for go cool off. For go cool off. That come from that man mouth. Now they make them cool off a little more because they extend it until September. I think it's the 24th or something like that of September, right? So I mean, what are these people doing, Leonard? I laugh for words.
Uh, oh,
Go ahead,
yeah,
Leonard.
okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. To start with, I'd like to, instead of going straight into the Constitution and quoting the Constitution as I normally would do, as a basis for what my following commentary would be, I just want to make personal commentaries right now in terms of the overall perspective. Because it's not the first time we have quoted the Constitution in regards to these matters. We have been dealing with these matters on a regular basis. And it appears to me that these people that we have running our system of governance has no regards for the Constitution, have no regards for us, the population, and are acting as a bunch of scofflaws. And because we've invested our powers of our governance powers and trust them with it, and they now have it in their hands, that they assume the posture of just using it to their own heart content, failing to remember that they're sworn an oath to the Constitution and to the Belize people and country to abide by our Constitution, abide by our laws, and govern in such a way as to produce policies of state that will help to enhance the well-being of the people and country. But these people are just running roughshod over us and disregarding what the Constitution says. They want to be acting with the laws capriciously. In other words, the laws are there for them to use against us, bullyrag us, haul and pull the system, and turn us all, well, I shouldn't say all, turn some of us into people who are breaking the laws. Because they go to the house and they create bogus, unconstitutional rules and then put them on the book and pretend that those rules should trump the Constitution and they should be able to hide behind those bogus rules and mistreat the people. Why? Because most of the people don't have no money to fight their own government. They barely have money for eat. The ones that do have money for eat. Because there are others who don't have money for eat. So why should they have to find themselves having a need to mistreat the people who trusted them with that power? It doesn't make sense to me. As you said earlier, Mr. Wade, you don't see any reason why they should have to treat people like that and behave like that. Why can't they just be law abiding citizens themselves? Give us themselves as good law abiding citizens as an example, follow the rules and the regulations, follow the Constitution, make laws that are within the bounds of the Constitution, and act honorably. Because that's the reason why we give them, we attach that title of honorable this and honorable that to those
Not in
who
my
we
book.
entrust the power with. They need to come straight and stop playing games. For example, why did they quickly found reasons to go and arrest that gentleman the other day? What was the gentleman's
Buddha.
name? Mr. Budna. Just because he decided that he want to make one claim against the gentleman from the hospital where assault him. Now, if that assault was the opposite, let's say if he may assault that gentleman, they may charge him for assault and they may get him 3 years in prison. How come they make the law and now they can't apply the same bogus law to the person who commit the crime? But in order for Mr. Budna not to make a complaint against the man and file one lawsuit against him, they want to tarnish his life, mess around with the liberties and freedom and his right to express himself and his right to record whatever he needs to record and the right to operate, even if he's not a bona fide, legitimately hired and paid reporter. He's doing a public service by reporting what's going on.
Exactly.
So there's no reason for that gentleman to come out and assault him. In the first place, to come out of the hospital buildings.
He was marked. He was marked. He's a marked guy for calling out.
But my point is, we have laws in the country, legitimate laws for assaulting people. Why didn't the police officer, after Mr. Budna told him that he wanted to press charges against the gentleman, make sure he got the gentleman information? And since the assault took place in his presence, he was supposed to then follow follow the guidance of the police authority to make an arrest right there on the spot.
Exactly.
They always do that when they go to the bar, go grab this one and that the one where they cause trouble in them bars or wherever or whoever, or when they have demonstration or whatever. I remember one time they gone and grabbed Miss Moya and push her in on the van and make the lady buck her head, and then they talk craziness about, well, a good for her. When that was an assault as well. Just because then they demonstrate and use their rights. They demonstrate against whatever is it that they wanted to demonstrate against. That's their constitutional and God-given rights. But back to the issue with Mr. Bunna, because I don't want to get off of that. I don't want to make that slide. Regardless of all the other things that they're accusing the gentleman of, there's no justifiable reason for that gentleman to go on and assault him.
Exactly.
So we laws supposed to be good for everybody in the country.
Amen to that.
That gentleman assault Mr. Bunna, the police then shouldn't try arrest him and carry him in jail and go put him in jail for whatever charges. Then they talk about trump up charges 3-4 years ago where they never pursued him about. But because he's there to say he want to press charge against this gentleman, they want to go back on behalf of this gentleman to crush his chances of making his lawsuit. And thereby claiming then that because of the issues that they have with him, otherwise, this gentleman who assaulting is supposed to just get buried and forgotten about. I don't think that should be forgotten about. That gentleman needs to have his butt arrested. And whether Mr. Budna is in prison under whatever bogus or whatever justifiable cause that doesn't mean that he shouldn't be able to press charges against an assault on his person.
And Leonard, Bass, that they didn't even want to take a report from Budna. Bass, I don't put that past them, right?
That's
I'm
how it
pretty
happened, yeah.
sure they didn't even want to take a report from that guy, right? Refusing him of his rights, right?
But I'm saying, from what we see took place that occasion, that is
Maybe
the basis
wrong.
on which they are trying to make sure that the man don't have no chance to pursue his rights. In other words, he was violated physically by being assaulted. And the person who assaulting could get off scot free and like nothing supposed to come out of that, while he go hang out jail to be inconvenienced, so he doesn't have his freedom to exercise his right to file a claim. That's what it's all about at the end of the day.
Exactly.
They're just pressuring the guy and playing the guy and using the system against the guy. And the Minister of Health, you want to go back for his employees them? Why the hell you never going back for the employees them when they get chance to call you? Okay?
There you go.
The laws are the laws, and the laws must be equal according to Section 6. Everybody is equal under the laws.
Amen.
Uh,
So so you s-
Back to you, Mr.
so you
Wayne.
see,
Play around.
Leonard, like we have always talked about these kinds of injustice, right? You quote the Constitution and you said it again. Everybody is equal under the law, and so sadly, Leonard, right? And my people, both at home and abroad in this country, whenever they are caught, whether a minister or heads of department or the prime minister, right? They always try to justify, right? And you see the person that is claiming that they had done them wrong. You see how they call them in a little corner and offer them bribe. They bribe them. The lady came public knowledge and said that, finally his son got showed up in court and showed up at the police station when she was wanted under the last SOE Leonard, and they beat up the guy, and they bust him up, right? And then the lady says that she wanted to press charges,
Mm-hmm.
right, for what they did to her son. And what they did, they called her and offer her, I think, land, she said, and money, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what that lady said. The lady said, but she didn't take it. She
Uh,
wants justice. She didn't take the money nor the land that they were offering this lady. So I say, that's to show you, Leonard, the level of corruptedness and the level of police state and authoritarian state, right? Because if you're wrong, you are wrong. You should be able to face the music, right? And face your charges, right? Why you ain't hauling this lady in after you done bust up his son and do what you want to do with him, right? And still
when there was no need for that to
you
happen in the
you you
first place,
you
okay?
want
They
to
never have
still
to beat
look
up
good,
every man.
Leonard. You don't want to go to court, right? They whoever don't want to go to court, so you call this lady and say, we offer you land, man. And I thought government official, public
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
government official, public servant, right? Did that, right? And the lady, they lie. That lady will not come on that on the news, on the media and lie like that.
And then may half our land, and later on, they may have problems with the same land there again. When everything sits
Exactly,
down, so
right?
all this kind of way,
So
because that's how those things work. But I'm sorry for interrupting, Mr.
no, go
Chairman.
ahead, Leonard. Go ahead.
No,
Go
no,
ahead.
go ahead. Finish your thoughts. Sorry for
So what
interrupting
that's what
you.
I'm saying, Leonard, right? Was to show you when they are caught, the level they go, the level they stoop, just for you not to take them to court and to hold them public, right? And call you in a room. That's how they do the union leaders, Leonard, this
Mm-hmm.
country.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing they do to that lady, that's what they do to the union leaders. Not the union per se, they're leaders. They call in a room and they level the same
They have
offers.
they're having a problem right now with some
Right.
other unions in the civil service.
Okay.
Okay,
Yes. Yes.
instead of
So
dealing
you
with the people
see,
and squarely.
and you see all the public servants that are retired and are protesting for their retirement pension and all that
Still not
money
get
that
it.
the government owe them.
Still not get
And
it.
you know what they're trying to do now, Leonard? They're trying to paint a nice picture. No, no, we raise the pension. The money you are getting, we're gonna raise it for you, right? Just to make them try to fuck. Oh yeah, some of them will say, you know what? They will give you more money, so make we shut up, right? Make
Mm-hmm.
you know, right? These are the level of hypocrisy. These people are hypocrites. Like, you understand what I'm saying, right,
But Mr.
Leonard?
Yes, sir. But Mr. Chairman, these people need their money now. In fact, not now. They need it from yesterday or
Exactly.
day before or months or years by.
Yes.
They are punishing. They can't meet their obligations. They can't meet their bills. They need the money a long time ago. Why can't they give the people what belongs to them?
So, Leonard, they don't want to take fault, right? They don't want to take fault, and they want to silence these people by a little bribery. I call that bribery,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because why didn't you offer that rise in the pension 2 years ago, right? Or months ago? Why now?
It was
Why
Mr.
now?
Chairman, it was long overdue,
Long overdue, right?
because then people from this present government came into power when they cut the 10% down. At that time, they were supposed to have been given a raise, and that raise, besides the
Didn't happen.
10%, the raise never came. Okay,
But who got the raise?
the high civil
There you
servants,
go,
I mean
right?
the
His
head of
CEOs,
departments and
one
CEOs
named
and all of that stuff.
Narda Garcia,
Uh-huh.
and I could call all of the names, all the CEOs, right, who got that hefty raise. And what happened to the other poor little minions, public servants? Did they get anything?
They don't only get a
They
raise
even
in a
get
salary.
electricity, their phone bill raised,
That's the way I mean.
right?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Their phone bill.
And
Man,
some of them got
Leonard,
the phone bill.
which one of them CEO
Some of
will
them
wrap
got.
up a $600 phone bill? Which one of them?
There was no contract for no $600 in the whole country.
And you know what? Where that contract is not at that raise, that $600 not going to BTL or digital. No, it's going to Smart.
Which
And
is their
who
private
owns
company.
Smart?
And on that same smart thing right now too, they have a problem with the talking about wanting to sell some BTL properties. Every time these people get into government, then try to figure out how to harness for we natural resources of
Yes.
we
But Leonard,
local government properties or assets and take it for themselves.
Leonard, what kind of picture they are painting?
Every time they do that,
What kind of picture they are painting? Their chairman and all of them, Kahuda. What kind of picture they are painting? BTL is in a bad state,
they
right?
want to block BTL so they
No,
can sell it back to
yes.
Mr. Man
So
with less
go
than
to
what they get it
Smart.
for.
Go to Smart. BTL is in a terrible state. So then they should fire the damn guy. What's his name? The CEO. I mean the chairman. What's his name? That was the senator. Always,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
that. Anyway, I don't want to talk
He,
much
he
about him,
was
but
he, he is the one that was on the TV talking about they
he
need to
should be
sell the
fired
property
if he
so they could
have
get money.
BTL in that state.
Look on the craziness where the man is saying, Mr. Wade, like if we all out there stupid, they need to sell some of the properties them so they could get money to go invest in the bushes there, back in the mountains and wherever else not where people live, where people need services too. So then when destroy what is good right now or what exists right now, to go create something where no one exists in the future. All I want is
I could
get
one
rid of the
solution to that, Leonard. They should have given all that millions in loan, give it to them, their crony and their friend. They should have kept that money. Then BTL wouldn't, I mean, Social Security wouldn't be in that state. BTL wouldn't be in that state, right? They should have kept that money, right? I'm
then
talking Social
then
Security, right?
yeah, okay, but
You
besides
know,
that,
all that loan they gave away, right?
they took money out of BTL when they want to pay Ashcroft, then took money out of BTL
I'm just saying.
assets, then took money out of Social Security, then took money out of the consolidated funds, and then took money that was being appropriated or sent to the government for special purposes, and then repurpose it in order to come up with their millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, but they need to pay Mr. Ashraf because they never had the money on hand. Okay?
And while I'm on Social Security, Leonard, most of that, the people's money that they gave to their friends the other day, millions of dollars for help them with their business and thing, those money will not come back to Social Security, just like the $30 million that Novello took, right? I'm just talking on the one that Courtney took, VH Courtney,
And the financing of the buildings then
right?
where they
And
turn around
and the
and
way Narda
rent it to
Garcia had
government.
left the Social Security, right? Where's she at right now? Handling more money, right? These people are some evil people. Talking about honorable Leonard, I don't want to hear that name. That part, honorable. None of them are honorable. So that's where we are, Leonard, with that. No, and I'm so sad, and to see how they're jumping around that they are God gifts to Belize. They are doing wonders for the country. That's what they are portraying right now, and
And
they are
see,
in election mode.
and it
But
seems like
anyway, Leonard,
and it looked like Mr. Weird. It looked like the people seem to be quite satisfied,
oh yes, oh
because
yes, you see, Ali
you hear
jump up the
people.
PG the other day,
Yes, you know, and only
all
I
the
mean people all over the
blue
country.
shot that was out there
Then
and red shot,
oh man,
sad, we sad. Another issue, Leonard, that concerning this country, the double standard, right, in these two
Mr. Weird,
political.
you mentioned about the blue shirt just now. Maybe I had a part of the blue shirt thing because they had in a blue today.
I I I
You know
I
what my
I,
role?
I will
My
have to
role.
talk to you after this about that. But Leonard,
Go ahead.
lately
Uh-huh.
you see the double standard of this two-party system, right? When that man from the out on the keys, what's his name here? The minister out there, what's his name? That
Perez, isn't it? Right?
Perez,
Uh-huh.
right? When that accusation against him, did they quick to persecute him? Did
No.
they quick to charge him?
Let me quick for try pressure the lady, though, that the
But
lady had
look,
to actually run away
exactly.
for you won't
No, look
safety.
what I am not a UDP lover nor a PUP lover, so not say that Mr. Way talk because in a UDP or in a PUP. Either across the board. If you do, you do. If you not do, you not do.
Well,
I don't say you do.
even my necktie to that are blue and white, Mr. Weird. The
Well,
shirt are blue
no,
and white,
no,
my necktie are blue and
seriously,
white. Me have a
seriously, I
shirt
have
are
to
white.
talk to you. Seriously, I have to talk to you after this.
I they get compromised by the man there, man.
All right. But Leonard, yeah, let's on a serious note, Leonard, right?
A serious
You
business
see
with it
what they
now.
hurry jump to do to this the OJ the Arrington
Uh-huh.
attorney,
Uh-huh.
the
Oh,
the, the
his files
accusation
ready for
and thing.
roll. They got his
Yes,
file ready for roll, but the other
yes,
files
his
then
file is
they still
ready.
investigate.
In less than what couple months,
Yeah.
month, 2 months. Now, what they did with Mr. Perez, right? And don't tell me he didn't do what the lady said he did. Don't give me that crap, right? The man is guilty, but his party is in power. The policeman never in question her, right? Never even been detained
You
nowhere.
know here what that the reason why nothing could have been done is because the lady was not the one that came and make no statement to the police, so the police can't go no further. That's why then they try to claim no. After they done so that the attorney general was investigating, You see how conniving and treacherous and liar these people are?
I thought it was the police to do the investigating. I didn't know that the attorney general investigate. I didn't know that. I just learned something now.
But
In the
the
true
police,
sense,
yeah, but even
they're
that,
all
the police,
compromised.
yeah, but it was never intended for that man to get prosecuted, okay?
Exactly.
But they are just putting out these bogus statements out there to say, well, as a matter of fact, factually, they don't have a report. So because they don't have a report, they can blame it on the person who never provide them one report instead of let me follow through from the lady's complaint.
It's
They
just
never
that
follow
what
through.
happened to your guy Budna that you just brought up
They,
just now. Same thing.
they never follow through.
There's no report made, so they can't persecute the doctor. Never follow through. There
That's
is no
how they
report
roll.
made. Same thing.
Bunch of
Why?
criminals.
Sad,
So
Leonard. I'm
yeah,
just bringing this out so that for public
and for we people like it like
consumption
that, Mr.
because
Wade.
it's public knowledge.
A lot of we people like it like that.
Oh yes,
I watched what they made step on his Facebook in regards to this gentleman when they made harass the gentleman, right? What some of them they say that they're glad that them want send on a jail now, and they're glad about
wow,
this and glad about
wow,
that.
wow.
Okay, when in fact
Mere accusation, right?
they would
And then
not
they
like to
behave
find
that kind of
themselves in
way.
that kind of situation.
Yeah,
None of them would like to find themselves in that kind of
yeah,
situation because in the first place you're not supposed to get mistreated and maltreated
yeah. So that's just to
before
show
you get
you.
your sentence pronounced on you.
That's just to show you the powers that these people has Leonard in this country. So what he is more human than Buddha. I just take for instance the minister from the Keys, the Perez guy. Is he more human than Mr. Buddha, or is he more human than me and you? Right?
Well, according to him,
Seems like it
because
is.
that's why he was successful at becoming a politician that was in office.
Yes.
So if
And
you
my
can't get in
people.
office, then you can't enjoy any kind of privileges there.
Exactly. And Leonard,
Different
so
classes and
sad. This is what we pay for, Leonard. That's our tax dollars at work. That that's a typical example of where our tax dollars is doing good. Very good. Our tax dollars is
and then
showing justice.
they went and make laws so that you can't bully nobody or cyber bully nobody.
Oh
When
yeah.
in fact we had
Yeah.
laws on the book already for assaulting people, or for bullying people, or for lying against people. We had laws on the book for all them things there already.
So Leonard,
But the
what
prime minister
happened to
himself
the
and turn around and bully the lady where the man out of key made the mess imprisonment.
exactly? I was just gonna come
Why
to
they never
that.
collect fee
And
note
who
and
did
put
it, Leonard? The prime minister himself,
that's the way I say. How come they
right?
never charge you under the same rules there when they make the law for?
Well, he's more human. He's more human
This guy's a
than
joke, man.
the regular Jan
Bunch
Joe
of
out
joke.
there. He's more human, right? So it's very, very germane. As we need to put these things out there, and we need to show where justice is, Leonard, right? And these are just some of the things, right? These are just some
Hmm.
of the things that happen to our regular um, not so human people in this country, because
I
the
see
rest are
Greg in
more
the background.
human than us.
No, I was saying I see Greg in the background. He must be working on something.
Okay, well, all
Yeah.
right.
Uh,
Glad to have
Please
him when he show up.
continue, though, sir. Continue.
Leonard, another thing, Leonard's NHI.
Hmm.
You hear, Leonard, the last time when they did with Brads and the Bolido and this and that, and where the money is going
To the
after
fast stuff.
when the Briseno administration will take it, the money and the process will go to NHI.
Hmm.
So
And they can't buy bandage for the lady
there you go, right?
or for nobody else.
So now, Leonard, an election is around the corner. Now NHI is a big thing now. They say lately, public knowledge, that it will roll out to the entire country. That's what some of the ministers, so-called ministers, they say. But this lady, Narda Garcia, now, she came and she said on a news item there that NHI will deliver to 80% of the population. But
Which are the twenty
listen to
percent
me,
when which are the 20% when I get it? I would like to know.
listen to me.
Inquiring minds want to
So
know.
well, Leonard, they always tell on themselves, like Greg say, and we always say, they lie and they tell on themselves. When them come publicly, the minister,
Hmm.
especially Minister for Health,
Hmm.
Mr.
Bernard.
Bernard says,
Hmm.
NHI will roll out to the entire country. Right? That's what came out of that man's mouth. Then what came out of the lady mouth, now remember that lady carried a big stick too, She remind me of the guy Courtney. This is just me,
Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh.
right? This is just me. I'm gonna proceed on different kind of way other people. It's your right. You know, that lady carry a darn big stick in this country. So she says 80%. So who do you believe? You believe the Bernard guy?
I believe all of them. Because they are a bunch of clown and
I
chance
want to
people.
welcome
They are
my good
chance.
colleague, Mr. Gregory Brackett. Welcome, my brother. Glad to have you. I was waiting patiently.
Good night,
So wait.
Mr. Chairman, and
Okay,
thank
so
you. Good night,
Yes, sir.
my good cousin.
good
I
night,
was a
Greg.
bit busy, but
That's all right.
I needed to him on. For a long time, we have been preaching about the unconstitutionality of the state of the emergency
Mm-hmm.
and how the government keeps bastardization of our constitution. Every week we sing this tune,
Mm-hmm.
but I am proud to say to the people at home and abroad, if the walls are there, let them hear it. Because you know what I believe this next step should be? A referendum to prevent the government from passing any other state of emergency. The Referendum Act guarantees of fundamental rights, section 3219, and there should be no one that can be able to prevent anyone from seeking judicial review. Now, I'm saying this because we have a learned man. We have a liar who was representing a young man, the 13-year-old who went to the prison
Mm-hmm.
only to find that she would turn back and said she could not see the young man unless she have a court order. Let's not forget that this young man, as I said on Monday night, committed no crime. He has been held there under illegal detention, regardless of what people want to say. But people at home and abroad, we have been beating this heart, let's hear it.
In our wonderful country, a 13-year-old can be taken to the prison and presumably also, according to a legal representative for the family, it's alleged that he also is in the hole. Man, it's like, for me, it's just becoming unacceptable that these things are going on right in front of everybody's eye. That you could just pick up people and say, you then go to jail. And then when the 30 days or 1 month are up, we extend the period, man. Because nobody is in the society. We should be protected by the church leaders, especially by the media who are probing and trying to get information to expose wrongdoing when it is going on. His lawyer has said to the media, and I'm sure she's going to go to the High Court, and we are depending on the High Court to show no mercy to those who are abusing the authority and they take chance off of black people and poor people.
Are you able to speak about the fact that the attorney has pointed out, that's Leslie Mendez, that this child, he's a minor, has not been convicted. So everything that the state is alleging, all of these at this point are mere allegations of him shooting at anyone or trying to do so.
Of course, there are allegations. Nobody's there because they're convicted. Because if you're convicted, you wouldn't be out here. You would either be serving time or be paying a fine. This is a frightening, ongoing development in the society. When you go back to your office, you pull out Section 20 of the Constitution that you can call a state of emergency where there is an earthquake, a hurricane, a flood, a war, some natural disaster that is putting all of us, maybe a section of the city, a section of the country, all of us are at risk because something of such major proportions has taken place. But you shoot 3 people and we're in a state of emergency. I heard the minister responsible for social services and women and presumably children say on the news last night that after they finish doing an investigation, then they want to decide, my God, take the Libya out of jail right now and house him in some youth facility till they could straighten out the matter. Like they don't have no empathy, they don't have no feeling for what they are doing, you know.
Same thing I talked about. Same thing we've been talking about.
Mr.
Same
Chairman,
thing.
for months now,
Thank
we've
you,
been on
Greg.
this particular
Go ahead,
walk
Greg.
to try and
Mr.
rectify it.
Chairman, I said it on Monday about this unconstitutional state of emergency, and I also mentioned about picking up of these young men who have absolutely committed no crime in violation of their constitutional rights, which give them the right of freedom of association. It's not a crime
Amen to that.
to be the
Amen
member
to
of
that.
a gang. How much time do we want to say that? Back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Greg. You know, the same thing we've been talking about, and I thank the learned man, gentlemen, right? Because they could say anything about my good friend, right? You could say anything about my good friend, but you know, whenever it's time to speak out, he does not hold his tongue. He don't care who. He will say it like it is, as per the law, right? You know, they say we shouldn't be. He talk what should be and what they shouldn't have done, right? So I thank him, and I've always says, guys, right before I go to you, I've always says, guys, that you know I would like to see a group of attorneys get together and bring some of these, highlight some of these injustice, raw injustice that takes place in this country, man, right? And present it to the court. And like he says, have these people answerable, right? But I yet to see that. And when that happen, you know, I'll be very happy. I'll be very happy. Hold these elected officials and these heads of departments accountable. That's my thing. How dare they can do these things and get away with it? That's my thing. That's what I hurts me to the core. Like I say, are they more human than us? Or the people that do it to? Come on, man. Like you mentioned something, Leonard, karma, right? Karma. Be very careful what you are doing to people innocently. I could see if you commit a crime, guys. If you commit a crime, you got to do the time,
Hmm.
right? There's no two ways about that. You shouldn't even go attorney for defend you. Once you commit the crime, you do the time. But then, if you are innocent, haven't done anything wrong, why should you be treated in that manner? Back to you, Leonard.
Thank you very much, sir.
Mr. Chairman, if I may,
Go ahead.
before
Go
you
Go
ahead,
go
ahead.
to
Greg. Go
Mr.
ahead
Go ahead.
before.
Brackett,
Go ahead.
I need to say this, that we have not wasted our time or effort in trying to educate the Belizean people at home and abroad about our constitution that is the law of the land. I need to say that here we have a learned man now in Mr. Bradley saying the exact thing that we have been saying and calling these people out. No, because of what he said, I don't see no reason why the human rights people shouldn't step in, or why these people, like my cousin said, cannot be picked up and sent to Hague or hold accountable for violation of human rights.
It's
I
coming.
have said it before. They are violating not only human rights, but international law by doing trafficking of these young men when they pick them up at home and take them to the prison.
And a false pretext and
So
bogus SOEs.
we need to really get on top of this. And when my cousin is finished, I have said it before. The state is now doing malicious persecution,
Mm-hmm.
where they pick you up and put a charge on you, and you have to go prove your innocence without you have even committed a crime. Now it's in the
Happens
open. I keep saying it.
every
With
day.
that said, I go to you, Mr. Brackett.
Thank you
Go
very
ahead,
much,
Leonard.
Mr. Bradley. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. As regards to what Mr. Dickey said earlier, he was 100% correct. The point is that the people that we are dealing with have no respect for the laws of Mr. Dickey to talk about, or what we to talk about. They don't have no respect for the Constitution. They don't have no respect for us, or any consideration for that matter of fact. They just want to do what they feel like doing when they feel like doing it. And if they are being pointed out as being rogue or scofflaws or whatever, not only are they offended by being classified as such because of their malicious conduct, but they want to turn around and victimize the person that's complaining about their conduct.
Like Mr. Budna.
Exactly, a case in question, a case in point. So, in the first place, once they arrest somebody that's underage, there is, not should be, there is a protocol or a procedure for them to operate under in terms of dealing with that particular individual, regardless of what the crime or circumstance may have been. The fact that they don't follow those processes and procedures means that they care less about what the law directs them to do or not do. Because when they do the wrong thing, they turn around and find excuses, or they make excuses among themselves. And they aid and abet the criminal conduct on their part, all under the
Exactly.
guise that they're trying to deal with the criminals. How many dozens of times have we not told them, go out there and deal with the criminals who we know are committing the crimes, and stop put the whole society at risk of these bogus SOEs, where other people that have nothing to do with the criminal conduct are being victimized right, left, and center. What part of that they don't understand baffles me. Because I'm sure that they understand that what they're doing is contrary to good governance, contrary to good policing, and harmful to the society at large. And that they're forbidden to conduct themselves in that manner in the first place. But like I said, they have no regards for the laws. So they go ahead and do what they want, and who is to stop them? Like I said though, karma will stop your butt. Continue going down that bad road. Continue taking the country down that bad road. But don't complain when a lashback come back at you. Because karma is what it is. And until you
Amen to
face
that.
it, sometimes you don't realize really what it is. You only interpret the meaning of the word according to how the dictionary spells it out. But you have not suffered the consequences of your wrong. And when those consequences walk back on you, don't complain. Don't ask for assistance and don't blame nobody else. Because you set that in motion, you put yourself in that situation by taking advantage of other people. And there's only so much advantage that human being can take. Because they'll find one way or another to justify their own self-preservation. Self-preservation is the maxim of creation. And if you won't violate that rule and stop people from preserving themselves or looking after their well-being because you don't want to do what you're being paid to do, don't complain when those people turn around and try to take justice into their own hands. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Thank you, Leonard. Gregory, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I have mentioned about malicious persecution and how the system is working to silence people. They are not only using laws that they pass and constitutional laws, but they are also doing it outright. And in the case of Mr. Budna, I highly believe that the charge they drop on him, abetment to murder, is same thing. Put a charge on him to silence him. Even though they say they have evidence, 3 years they just find the evidence. I highly believe that it is malicious persecution. Because this tape I'm going to play, I want you to hear the charge that was placed on this young lady. Even though she committed some offense, it goes beyond the offense that she had committed. Let's take a look and listen to this.
You really believe that some Mennonites gave Darius Grant $5 million cash to get a piece of land? You really believe that? Darius Grant is in prison because she's on a state of emergency for murder. So, man, they could just put her in charge for anybody like that. Who she murdered, when she murdered, nothing like that, no. Not there. She is in the hole, in the prison, because she's alleged to be involved in gang, and the paper that took her to state of emergency is that she's also been accused of being involved in murder.
Mr. Chairman, did you hear that? They put a
Wow.
charge on this young lady and hold her. Did you hear what the charge was? Keep at home and abroad. We really have to look at what is happening here. Mr. Chairman, it is that we are having a no confidence government that cannot deal with external and internal policies, that is now using authoritarian rule in force to silence anyone and go after anyone who dares to call them out for their wrongdoing. That is why I'm saying, Mr. Chairman, following this unconstitutional state of emergency, if the Brazilian government does not use its supermajority to create laws that are constitutional laws to protect the citizens of Belize, and they continue to want to come with these state of emergency. I believe we should call them out through a referendum. Point blank, let the people decide about the constitutionality of what is happening, as was said by Mr. Bradley. We need to start to hold them accountable. Go ahead, Mr. Brackett.
Uh,
Go ahead, Leonard. Yeah,
Mr.
go
Chairman,
ahead.
thank you.
Go ahead.
I want to go back to this SOE. And Greg, you'll be able to back me up on what I'm about to say here because I want to go down deep into the Constitution itself. Initially, when they first came with this SOE bogus, the first set of bogus SOEs, I'm talking a while back now, a few months back, we pointed out to them that at the time that particular SOE was arbitrary and capricious and was not done and drafted legitimately with any due care and constitutionality to it, that it was violative of our Constitution in many different ways. And we pointed out to them some of the ways in which that particular SOE back then was violative. Before the 30 days was up, they let the people loose because they realized the errors of their way and they were treading on grounds where some of them both could have ended up at the Hague, like Greg mentioned earlier tonight. And I have been pointing out to them. And that process is still in that issue about some of them ending up at the Hague is in process. So they don't have to feel like because it hasn't happened yet that it may not happen, because it is in process. It's just that these processes take a while, to get consummated. But they went again and made another SOE, which is the one that we were arguing about a couple of weeks ago, a few months, about a month or so ago, a little bit more than a month. And we pointed out to them that SOE as well was violative in other ways. So they didn't cure the first SOE, they just let it die a natural death because within 30 days they got what they wanted, which was to take the kids them off the street and did what they wanted to do. And the end result is that it served them a purpose to have committed an illegal act. But none of them but never get taken to jail or get sanctioned for the unconstitutional violations. So they went ahead and create, like I said, this next SOE now that we are currently talking about. But I want to point out something about this current SOE. Not only was it inconsistent with the constitution of the country in quite a few different instances, but for the fact that they created the SOE, the Governor General's office was abused in the putting forward of this SOE that did not meet the requirements for an SOE. Yet it was assented to, as we instigated or pointed out earlier. For all we know, it could have been assented to by the Deputy Governor General, as he always does, on behalf of Cabinet. Because the Governor General office, most of the time, even though they don't have a constitutional advisor independent from the Attorney General's office or the Attorney General himself, they should have an independent constitutional advisor to the head of state, so that when these things come to the head of state or the delegated head of state, the Governor General, will be able to, in their own, or from their own vantage point, be able to recognize the validity of this document before assenting or signing to it. This bogus SOE, the one that was attempted to be used just a while back when before they come up with the 90-day extension was incorrect and inconsistent. And we also spoke to that. You remember that, Greg? You remember that, Mr. Wade?
Yes, we
And
did,
we
Yes, we
pointed
did.
Mr.
out to
Yeah,
them.
we
Brackett.
did. Yeah.
Greg had pointed out that in the first place, they had not followed protocol, which is to register in the Gazette and publicize for the general public to know that they were under an SOE.
Wasn't done by due process at
Besides
all.
that,
None of them.
now what they're trying to do, or what they did, was because we pointed out again to them that that particular SOE was in violation and contravention of the laws, and that they should take it away and correct it. They stalled, killed the time, and when the 30 days was almost up, they went to the House, which is normally the process that, if the House could pass a requirement for an SOE or declare that there's a need for an SOE, then the Governor General could just go ahead and sign it on behalf of the House. And we know the majority that they have in the House, most of whom have no knowledge or understanding about the Constitution, and or for a matter of fact, that they are being used to abuse the people by creating bogus laws that are not constitutional. So they followed now on the previous bogus SOE. Instead of throwing that out and create one valid one, they went ahead to go to the House to have the House assent their House powers to the furtherance of the SOE for 90 days. So that was a sleight of hand. How can they use a bogus SOE to extend for another 90 days when the first SOE, or when that particular SOE doesn't have any constitutional bearings or legality attached to it? It's in contravention of the Constitution, and it's illegal. How can they then take that same SOE as a base and ask the
Thank,
House to give a further 90 days?
Mr.
thank
Brackett,
you.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
Mr.
thank you,
Brackett,
Leonard.
Go ahead,
let
sir.
me
Yeah, go
answer
ahead.
that for
Wait, wait.
you. Let me answer
Yield back,
that
Mr.
for you,
Chairman.
Mr.
Yield back,
Brackett.
Mr. But I know the answer, Greg. It's not that I don't know the
We
answer. I'm just pointing
tore,
out to the public for them to be aware.
we tore the statutory instrument 59 apart. All is unconstitutional move.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Fish, who is an attorney also, sat
Mm-hmm.
with us and we went through it and we spoke about how they were preventing these young men from seeking judicial review. We even spoke about the 7 days by our constitution,
Mm-hmm.
which they have to tell these young men what they are charged with.
And they have not been doing that either.
But you know what makes it more unconstitutional? When I call it out and I said, this state of emergency is inconsistent with Section 18.2, because when we look at the COVID, you have to have some kind of measures, some kind of law that one would break for them to
Exactly.
charge you.
Exactly.
Here we
But
find Mr. Bradley now
that is not
coming
their
to say
intention.
the same thing my cousin was saying. A state of emergency should only come if we are at war or the whole of Belize is threatened. Not for that, because there's laws on the book that they already have to sentence these young men if they commit a crime. You
But
cannot
they're trying to pick
continue,
them up without them committing a crime, and they are declaring that they are picking them up under the
but
gang
that's what
suppression
they're doing.
law. The gang suppression law does not trump the Constitution, and they know that as well. And we keep telling them that over and over and over. But they don't have no regard for the Constitution,
No,
much less for us.
no statutory
Who are we to be
instrument
telling them what they want,
or
what they can do and not
policies
do?
trump your constitutional rights. Section 3219 is untouchable. The only time some of your rights can be taken away, and we keep saying this to the people at home and
Greg,
abroad,
Greg,
is
not taken
when you
away,
have
suspended. suspended, not taken away,
suspended.
just suspended
Right,
for that particular period
right.
of time as
But
is declared and sanctioned by the Governor
you
General.
must have
Okay?
a genuine state of
Catastrophe,
emergency.
which is a catastrophe as the
So
Constitution
thank you
classifies it.
Back to you,
guys.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I just hope that those people that
A
who
bunch of
were
rascals.
roped in and had done wrong, knows that, guarantee that you have been done a great injustice. So, seek some legal advice, or hold these people accountable on that note, and then guys,
But
I was
Mr.
talking
Chairman,
about
Mr. Chairman, but they keep voting him back in power, which means
same.
that they are of the opinion that people like what they're doing,
Yeah.
and therefore they continue to be rogue
Yeah. Yes.
and unconstitutional
Sad.
and bastardize the laws and do what they want because the people seem to like it, according to
So
them.
sad, guys. So sad. In
Mr.
terms of,
Chairman,
go ahead,
Mr.
Greg.
Chairman, I want to say this so you can elaborate on it. People of Belize living at home and abroad, beware of the People's Constitution Act Committee, who is trying to change the present constitution. Because you see what is happening here already. Just imagine if you allow them to rewrite the constitution, what they will take out. They will take out section 20, preventing you from judicial review, and they will take out some of your fundamental rights, so you will be unable to sue the government. These people have an aim as to why they want to violate the present constitution. And
People are
I'm
not aware of
saying this
that.
to say to the people, be careful. Back to you,
Most
Mr. Chairman.
most people are
So
not
right.
aware of that, and they don't believe that these guys are so much of a jackal that they'll resort to doing that kind of mischief.
So
Which is
right on that,
unfortunate.
Greg. And like I say, and who are they doing it to, man? Who are they doing it to? Who are they doing this evil to? Or very own people. They're not like can they do it to Putin or Russia or Ukraine or Palestine or this or that. No, they're doing it to their one people. Their one, very one. So sad. A matter close to home, like I say, for the poor people that uses the public hospitals, public facilities, the healthcare facility. This issue with this NHI, as for me, I think it's another way just to reward some people, and it's bogus, right? Because my people, you go under the under the name NHI to a doctor, they will still refer you back to Carl Hushner, right? They will still refer you back because these clinics that they have around this country,
Private
some of them
clinics.
don't even have band-aid. Some of them don't even have the necessary items in place there to treat you. They will send you to KHMH. While after they do that, they will bill the taxpayers.
Mm-hmm.
They will not bill Brisenio, the UDP, nor the PUP. They will not bill, they will bill the taxpayers of this country. So that notion of my people will take over this Bolido because Brad had it all messed up, right? And Brad made a run away. He never made pay fair shares and a whole lot of crap you hear from this man just to have it under his control with his people. There is a little group of them, right? And he throw it out there for the public. And the proceed going for NHI. People so want good health care, we want to be treated, right? So then throw that out there because our people want here. Oh yes, be saying they take away
Bamboozle.
NHI, put it for NHI. Bunch of crap.
Where's the money?
What I'm trying to say is that when you go to these places, you are still going to go back to the public hospital where our taxpayers are still dollars are still working. So where is that money from the Bolido? That money wanna go buy Bolido every night. Where is that money? Who pocket that money? But the man don't dazzle on a fanatic's eyes, the fanatic eye that, oh yeah, he's going to NHI. Because people need good NHI, people need good healthcare in this country. And that Bolido, you hear on advertise it and they put people and put on commercial and that's for commercial there. Man, so sad to see how these people play away to get what they want. Sad. So I say this to say that, be careful, when you say, oh yeah, well, are they paying NHI? Because in reality, that is same taxpayer money, that the same hospital you're going go get your treatment, that the same little clinic where we, the taxpayers, they pay these nurses and these doctors. We don't pay them, They're going, but they throw that in, that NH. That's how I understand it, guys. Maybe I understand it different. No, I would have said if NHI was a hospital now, was a insurance now that you could take that little card and go to the Baptist hospital, Loma Luz, or you go to Medical Associates, which for sure they don't want no damn NHI. Trust me, they don't want, right? They want hardcore money. You could go to one of these big private hospitals with that in the word NHI, but you can't. Maybe I got it all wrong, Greg. And Leonard. I got to you, Greg. Maybe you could shed some light and educate me.
Mr. Chairman, if you lend your neighbor something and you don't return it, sometimes they call you a thief, right?
Yes.
When
Yes.
people keep talking about corruption and the government is in denial, we are not corrupted, but you can see the telltale signs. I believe that I want to move away from saying that I believe we have a corrupt government, because if you say that now with the passing of the new law, the common assault law, where they had themselves at the end, they're trying to silence you. I believe you cannot say that in
Mr.
violation
Brackett,
of your
Mr. Brackett,
constitutional right.
let me say it. Let
But
me say it for you, sir.
what
Let me say it for
what
you.
I can
Not
say,
only are they corrupt, but they're a bunch of
what
chance
I can
people.
say, Mr. Chairman, is how when, as I said, your neighbor call you out.
Es que el presidente de la República, Andrés Manuel López Obrador, exentó de
The
muchos
President of the
aranceles a
Republic,
productos
Andrés
que
Manuel
ustedes
López Obrador,
exportan a México,
exempted
como
many
lo es el
tariffs on
ganado, como
products
lo es
you
el
export to
azúcar, y
Mexico,
como
such
son
as
otros
cattle,
productos que
such as
consumimos.
sugar, and
Y
other
que estamos
products
viendo
that we
ahorita que el
consume.
gobierno de Belice
And
está
what we are
quitando
seeing right now
impuestos
is that the
a los
government of Belize
mexicanos
is
que
removing
desean ir a
taxes for
Belice.
Mexicans who
Yo
want to
creo
go
que
to
a partir de
Belize.
esa experiencia
I think that
y desde
besides
hace
that
mucho tiempo
experience,
nuestros
for some
gobiernos
time now,
están
our governments are
poniendo,
doing
los
what they
empresarios
can.
tenemos que
Businesses need to
aprovecharlo.
take advantage
Pero
of it.
también así como hay
But
esas
as a
buenas
business sector
acciones,
alone,
hay
we won't
algunas
achieve it
prácticas
if
que
you
se,
don't
que
involve
se
the
dan en la
authorities who
frontera
deal with these
y que eso,
issues.
lejos de ayudar,
Corruption, abuse of
perjudica,
authority,
y que es
and
donde
mistreatment
tenemos
because
que
it needs to be
trabajar.
said.
Pero
So what
solo
we
como
want
sector
is for
empresarial
that
no lo
flow of
vamos a
tourists
lograr
that always
si no
existed to continue
involucramos a las
and to
autoridades que
increase.
tienen que ver con
And
esos
I stress
problemas,
this not only
con
for
la
Chetumal,
corrupción,
but for
con el
Belize.
abuso de
Previously,
autoridad,
many
con el
Chetumal
maltrato,
families
porque hay que
would eat
decirlo.
at Corozal
Entonces lo que
every
queremos
Sunday,
nosotros
and
es
that
que
was
ese
stopped due to
flujo
the
de
restrictions
turistas
that our
que
government
siempre ha
sometimes
existido, que
impose,
siga
and they don't
existiendo y que
realize they are harming
incremente.
what we
Y lo
traditionally or
recalco, no
historically
solo
already
para
had.
Chetumal,
I
sino
believe that
para
in the
Belice.
sense, the business sector
Anteriormente muchas
assumed the
familias
responsibilities
chetumaleñas
of these
iban a
offices,
comer en Corozal
because in the
cada
business
domingo
sector,
y
we
se
like things to
dejó de
happen in a
hacer eso
practical and fast
por las
way,
restricciones
and
que
that's what we're
ponen a
going to be
veces nuestros
promoting,
gobiernos
or we're going to
y
be
no se dan
encouraging,
cuenta que
that
se
the solutions
perjudica
are
y
practical and
que
immediate, because we can't
tradicionalmente o
wait for the
históricamente ya
authorities' time.
teníamos. Yo creo que en ese
Because we
sentido el
also know
sector
that
empresarial
bureaucracy, on many
se
occasions,
suma a
takes a
estas
long
mesas de
time to give
trabajo
us results.
He knows a lot too.
Mr.
Calling
Chairman,
out.
corruption is alive and living
Well,
well,
so
and you
so
should
guys,
be ashamed
yes.
when your neighboring country is calling you out for it.
There
Not
you
your
go.
people now,
Yep,
your
your neighbor,
neighboring country.
neighboring country.
Back to you,
So,
Mr. Chairman.
guys, I'll say this to say that at the end of the day, through our medium, Belizean Affairs show, we call the Briseno administration out. We are calling them out to give a report so far as to the money collected from the Bolido. We want to know the amount, and we want to know how much money did you put into NHI, and we want to know and to who. That's what we would like to know from the taxes of the Bolido. Back to you, Leonard.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, for the privilege again to participate. I have a problem with our government not facilitating Belizeans to become successful entrepreneurs in their own country, and or not facilitating Belizeans with bringing in industry into the country to help provide jobs for us, or many of the other possibilities that our country need help with that our government seems incapable of doing. As my cousin always says, they don't deal with internal affairs too well. Of course, it seemed to me that they don't deal with it well when it doesn't benefit them directly. Because wherever there is something that they could put their finger in and benefit either directly or through family connections or through friends or other means, they're always attentive to, even if it means spending money out of the government coffers. Watch how much hundreds of millions they gave to Mr. Ashcroft. Then they gave another 125 million right now. Out of that, all of that, then don't say 80% of it won't get spent on, no, not 80, I think it was
70%, I think
70% of it is going to
70%
get spent on a
on the
particular.
groundwork, on the logistic, and
Uh-huh. So that means
you
that
hold yeah, take
so
this,
that
you
means
take
that
this, you
only
take
thirty
this, and
percent
it's
of the
share
money
ground.
will get spent for the purpose where you get
Yes,
when it's in Senate
yes,
funding.
yes. Sad.
And
Happens
that
all the
30%
time.
will get spent not on the Belizeans there on South Side and other Belizeans who are in dire straits and dire need. That won't get spent in the area where they want to impress the overseas and foreign people with whom they have these
Yeah.
agreements to
Two
show
more
that they're
minutes,
spending
Leonard,
some.
for your closing because
Yes,
we're
sir.
pretty much here. Two
To
more
show
minutes, and then you
that
take
they're
your
spending some
closing.
money to help other people. What about the money that they need to spend to help the original Belizeans them, the locally born Belizeans them, and people who need help? People are going to sleep without eating. And I keep repeating that. And for whatever the reason, well, as a matter of fact, I'll tell you no. Maybe the government not listening or not hear. But the money when they get in for what? Poverty alleviation, right? Which means that foreigners and other people here, what would they say? And then only based on what we say, they have the agents on the ground there in the country. So they see and understand and know what we say as being correct. So then they volunteer and offer money to help you out. And instead of we want government take the money and help you out, then help out other people with it. They have to come up with another $25 million right now to give Mr. Ashcroft. Every year they have to come up with $25 million again. Where do I get that money from if the economy of the country is crushed? Then take the same money where the people and they give away to help the poor people and give Mr. Ashcroft to meet for their obligation when they set to the man. Because they have to pay. So when the money come in to help the country move forward, they want to take it and give the man. So how the hell the country will ever move forward then?
Thank you.
I yield back, Mr. Chairman. That's my closing.
Thank you, Greg. You have 3 minutes, Greg, for your closing, you know.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. But this will be my closing to the Belizean people.
How are your human rights protected? The European Convention on Human Rights includes freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, right to life, liberty, equality, family life, right to a fair trial, freedom of religion, property, privacy, slavery and human trafficking, torture and ill treatment. These rights are best protected in our own countries. But when there are problems, the European Court of Human Rights provides a safety net. What happens if I think my human rights have been violated? If I have taken my case through the national courts, but I still don't think justice has been done, I can turn to the European Court of Human Rights in Strasbourg. If the court rules in my favour, I can get justice, possibly including compensation. Governments also have to make sure the same problem doesn't happen again. Over 17,000 judgments have been put into practice. This has changed people's lives in many different ways across the whole continent. All this for around 10 cents per person per year.
Back to you,
Mr.
Mr. Chairman.
Chairman? Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
Mr.
Thank
Chairman?
you.
You see that same thing where Greg just played just now? It's not the first time we played it on our show. We played it a few times. And we have mentioned to our leaders in our country before that some of them might find themselves at the Hague. It don't make no, like, ring a bell in their head. They're quite oblivious or unconcerned or seem, to feel like, well, they're above the fray. They don't understand that they're accountable to the Belizean people first and foremost, and the laws of our country, and that also, despite the fact that they don't put UNCAC in place, they are also accounted based on the treaties and international agreements that we have established already. Because we signed on to UNCAC already, it's just the enabling laws that they refuse to put in place. Some of them will end up at the Hague, at the International Court of Justice. I will not repeat myself ad nauseam or over and over and over, because my repeating it is not going to be the way by which it's going to happen. When it happens, tough luck for those who end up being the ones.
Thank you. Thank you, Leonard. My people,
You're welcome, sir.
As per that tape that Gregory had played just now, the U.S. State Department on maybe I could recall 2 or 3 occasions had flagged Belize for human rights violation, right? And they specify on this last one our security forces, some politicians, right? So if you don't believe me, you could check back on that letter that was and concerning human rights violation in this country. So thanks for putting up that tape there again, Leonard, and we invite them,
Great.
right, or to come back in this country, right, and do some more investigation. And from the last time to now, nothing different has changed. It has gotten worse because we are in a police state now where they take more advantage.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, these people do not understand. Those people don't have to come here, Those people can simply defund them because of human rights violations. So they better be aware of what they are doing.
Exactly.
Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Greg. That's so true on that. But we know they talk things just because we want to talk, right, guys? We talk things that that we see happen, right? We talk. Go ahead, Leonard.
sorry for interrupting you again, Mr. Chairman. I know I gave my
No, go ahead, go
last
ahead,
comment
go ahead.
on what Greg just said just now about them people could defund free country, which they have done before, but not in the massive way as to what Greg was
Yeah.
alluding just now. I have said on our program on more than one occasion and in other programs that we have been on before that was it not because of COVID, free country may have done doing our economic problem bigger than what the Barrow administration left the country in. And because of the hurricane that we had, Lisa, the Prime Minister was not given a letter that was supposed to have been sent to him as a declaration of economic warfare against them. They want to wage political warfare against us. We can do the same favor. We can return the favor. Wage economic warfare against them to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars that we are supporting our homeland with and save our money for our own retirement out here. Because we
Amen
got to
to
live
that.
too. We got to survive too.
Amen to that.
And instead of coming home to retire, as many of us would have liked to do, you know, we could
Thank
just
you.
take care of our own
Thank
business
you.
and forget about them and their craziness.
Thank you, Leonard.
But that won't hurt the whole rest of the country.
Yeah. Thank you.
So
On
people
that
better
note,
wake up.
we have a minute left, but I say this to our viewers and listeners, both at home and abroad, and especially those who support us, and give us thumbs up every time. I want to say shout out, you know, happy to have them. And as tomorrow is Emancipation Day, right? Are we going to celebrate that? And with 2024, are we still not in slavery? I just asked a question. Are we still not in slavery? Right? But they will want everybody to be merry and happy tomorrow. But I say this and I call out the government, to stop doing wrong to the Belizean people and start doing right. Stop lying to the Belizean people. We need a godly nation. We need them to do right by people in a whole. And I call on my people to be mindful that COVID is alive and well. The CEO and the Ministry of Health came last week and says we are having, more and more cases. We on this show have always said COVID did not go away. I always say it's alive and well, right? But they had went dormant with it, not reporting, not because there is no money, nothing, no money in it for them. What they have gotten, they have already gotten, right? Things that they should have bought, they didn't buy it for COVID. So maybe you COVID flare up, maybe they will buy it now, the equipment needed, right? Maybe, right? But COVID is alive and well. So my people, protect yourself. And I leave you with this. We are in the hurricane season. Just get started. Please take care of yourself, your home, your property. Secure yourself because we never know. We never know which one is going to hit us. And on that note, it's always a pleasure to be in your company, Greg and Leonard. It's always a pleasure. And look forward for your constitutional Friday night, Leonard, to be with you. And thanks for another
Nice program, Mr.
informative
Chairman.
program to the Belizean people, both at home and abroad. Gregory, take
Nice
it away,
program, Mr.
please.
Chairman. Nice program, Greg.